Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at Darlington Raceway for the 25th race of the 2018 season for the NRSL Mountain Dew for the Win Cup Series. Kev Shearer's on pole for tonight's race. Michael Amato in second. Looking at the rest of your top 10, James Shelley third. DJ Curtis, last week's winner at Yas Marina, starting fourth. James Qualls fifth. William Brock sixth. Deanna Jones seventh. Alexander Rowe eighth, with Andrew Rich and Jonathan Zorlin in row 5. Last week we saw DJ Curtis become the 15th different winner, currently sitting in the chase grid. Zachary Fitzwater Sr. and Alexander Rowe 31st and 32nd in points, just barely out behind Samet Oskin in the point standings for the top 30. Quentin Moore 28th in the point standings. Austin Alves 25th in the point standings, with Zach Flickinger 21st and Alex Gray 20th. Those are the drivers we're watching very closely here as we get towards the end of the regular season. Coming into tonight's race with Curtis's win, he became currently the 13th driver in with win to get into the chase, leaving just 3 in on points. Right now, those 3 are Peter Sands, Caleb Hoffman, your defending champion, and TJ Hanley. Currently, the first couple drivers out include Cody Hagan, Tony Green, Charles Jackson, Dylan Young, William Brock, Michael Amato, and Kev Shearer, who starts on pole tonight. Last year's winner was Jonny Gardner. However, Gardner, not the best qualifying run at all. He starts 42nd. He starts in last. That's right, but it's a long race, 147 laps ahead of us tonight. Gardner has plenty of time to move his way towards the front. Philip Parker, who got second here last season, starts 14th. As we mentioned, Shelley starting third. Amato starting second. Alex Gray starts 34th. Tony Green 27th. Philip Goldberg 25th. Peter Sands 35th. Samet Oskin 38th. Those are your top 10 finishers from last season and where they start.
Let's get ready to rumble!
And I forgot to mention one more name. Adam Rogers, who finished 10th here last season, is not in the field this season. So Kev Shearer, after a pretty good run last week at Yas Marina, is going to try to get a win here tonight. And as we've talked about countless times over and over again, the multi-winners from last season yet to win include the 24 of Michael Amato starting in second, and the 1 of James Shelley, who starts in third. Remember, the 21 machine, which was piloted by Colin Denton in 2017, won the cutoff race at Armory Digital to make the playoff field. Now that event next week is a 68 lapper. Last season we came here, this race was only 74 laps. This time around, we're almost double the distance, 147 laps here tonight. Things are going to get crazy here. Under the lights, it's the lady in black who will come out on top. Green flag is out. We're underway at Darlington. Leading lap 1, Kev Shearer, your race leader, Shelley, into second place. The high line is not the preferred line here at all, so Michael Amato is going to have to do his best to get down there as soon as possible. James Qualls is going to slide into third. Deanna Jones behind him in fourth. Amato trying to hold on to fifth place, but Andrew Rich on the inside of the 24 machine. And Amato will get the run though, so Michael Amato remains in fifth place. Andrew Rich sixth. Charles Jackson seventh. Cole Beaver will slide into eighth. Sorlin into ninth. And Hanley into 10th as DJ Curtis is in the wall. but he will manage to stay in front of Diego Yepes. And the caution flag is out, the lights are on, and your race leader is Kev Shearer, and Jonny Gardner is involved, and he is done for the day. Charles Sanford destroyed. Unsure what the direct cause of the accident was, but Gardner's day, looking for a repeat, not gonna happen, and Charles Sanford's bad luck continues. Appears to only be a two-car incident, but let's take a look at what brought out the first caution of the night. Now this was way in the back, around 37th. You see Gardner was just starting to make his way up. Ooh, Peter Sands gets in the wall. And this is probably where everything started. Let's see, Sanford nowhere to go, and he gets into the 12, and then Gardner had nowhere to go. Oh, and they go right down into the inside wall. Hard lick for both drivers. And that ends the day for both of them. Just innocent bystanders with nowhere to go, and that is something we could see happen here more tonight. But a tough break for the 32 of Jonny Gardner and the 03 of Charles Sanford. With that, we'll take you back to the restart. Getting ready to go back, green flag racing. There'll be 140 laps to go. New race leader after pit stops, James Shelley in the race lead. Second place, Deanna Jones. Third, Andrew Rich. Fourth, Jonathan Sorlin. Fifth is TJ Hanley. Sixth, Cody Hagan. Seventh, Emmanuel Hartnett. Eighth, Nico Trincali. Ninth, Austin Alves. 10th, Zach Leckinger, and Kev Shear has fallen down to 11th place. So the veteran pit crew stepping up here. You've got 4 past Speedway winners in the top 5. Deanna Jones and Andrew Rich could be both looking for another 5 bonus points heading into the chase here if they can win tonight. Deanna Jones winning at Atlanta earlier this season, also having wins at Talladega and sweeping the Puco Duels, while Andrew Rich won the 500, Texas, the Motordrome, and Pick Stadium. And Deanna Jones also won Las Vegas in 2017. But TJ Hanley, one of our rookie drivers who's currently in on points, is charging towards the front. He definitely wants to get this win if he can. And the caution is out yet again. James Shelley pulling away, gone. I don't recall having such a Wreckfest race here last season. This time Cole Deaver's involved, Joshua Osborne, and apparently Jessica Shelton as McIntyre runs into the back of the 02. More damage to her machine. Zach Rogers has a ton of damage. It looks like his day may be over, or night in this case. Let's take another look at what brought out the second caution of the day as everyone comes back down pit road once more. And this starts here in the back. I'm not sure these drivers are pushing a little too hard and everyone's getting into the wall. Right there, Alexander Rowe in the wall. 3 wide ain't really a good idea here at Darlington coming off the corner. Matthew McIntyre will make contact with Rowe. He gets turned into the wall, and then Cole Deaver has nowhere to go. That is what brings out the caution. Now McIntyre corrects himself, but Deaver comes straight back up into Michael Amato, turning himself into the wall. Amato hard into the wall. And then right here, there goes Deaver back around, unable to save his race car. And then Deaver looks as if he's going to go down pit road, as is Peter Sands. But no, these drivers are bound here trying to avoid a wreck. And Deaver is going to get turned by Peter Sands. And that sends Deaver straight up into the side of Zach Rogers. Oh, man. And there's Osborne's contact. Nate Rogers gets a piece of this. Quentin Moore. There's Eli Bright hitting the 70. McIntyre spun. No one else hit him. Shelton's going to hit a piece of the 70 car there. Lots of wrecking here tonight. Not sure what the difference has been from this season to last season. And then we saw Shelton comes back up in front of McIntyre out of nowhere, and boom, more damage. But let's get you to the race restart. Getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. Cole Devers, Zach Rogers out of the race tonight. Cody Hagan, your new race leader after pit stops. Deanna Jones second. Charles Jackson third. Shearer back up the fourth. Hartnett fifth. Shelley down the sixth. Rich down the seventh. Qualls is eighth. Hanley down the ninth. And Nico Tringali rounding out the top 10. Can these drivers go green? So far, it looking like that's not going to be the case tonight. Pace car's going to dive down. Caleb Hoffman has lost his hood. Not sure what happened to the 14 machine. But a lot of cars with damage here tonight. Everyone's earning their stripes. Green flag back in the air. Cody Hagan with a good restart, pulling out here, coming out of turn 2. Can these drivers go more than a few laps? Everybody currently just still single file. Taking their time as they get up to speed. And Deanna Jones peaks going into 1, but no dice. Look at the back of the field, see who is off pace. Osborne, Hoffman, Amato, McIntyre as well. Austin falling back here. Actually, they're doing a pretty good job of staying with the pack. There's Philip Goldberg, one of the top 10 drivers from last season. Driving the 26 last year. Jonathan Sorlin on his way to the back. He was in the top 10. That was on the previous restart. Right now, everybody up front just biding their time, staying single file. These cars are definitely a lot faster than they were last season. We only saw drivers hit about a 27.1, so perhaps reduced drag in this packet, this newer package, is not exactly working out for these guys here at Darlington. Charles Jackson going to make a move for second here in turns 3 and 4. Jones will get a run off the corner. And now more drivers making moves. Emmanuel Hartnett and Kev Shearer and James Shelley getting plopped into the high side. Shearer almost getting in the wall there. Mid corner, that's the big heads up that there might be a wreck if people aren't careful. So Shelley and Shearer are going to lose several positions here as several drivers move up. That was Emmanuel Hartnett who made the initial move. Andrew Rich also made a move and he followed. And now Charles Jackson on the inside of Deanna Jones. This is for second place. Now Hartnett looking to go by for third. Rich with a bumper full of James Qualls. The 27 car got third place here last year, but it was under RCR back then. Jones will get a good enough run. She'll maintain fourth. And now Qualls will push Andrew Rich up top. TJ Hanley also going to the back here. Maybe Nico Tringali making a pass underneath the 47 machine. As we're starting to dial in a bit of a green flag run. Meanwhile, Cody Hagan continuing the lead. Another two-time winner from last year that I continue to forget to mention is Charles Jackson, who won the opening races of rounds 1 and 2 last season. Jackson could be looking for his first win of the year and a chance to make the playoffs and actually win in the playoffs as a playoff driver. Looking at the points of drivers up front here, Cody Hagan, as we stated, one position out on points coming into tonight's race. Emmanuel Hartnett, 37th in points, needing a lot of help if he's going to win and move on after Armory. And then Charles Jackson also 14th in points. One of the couple drivers currently outside the point standings. One of the drivers that dominated this race last season was Philip Parker. Back then driving for Storehouse, now with Roush Fenway in the 6. As you can see, Sorlin getting passed by the 6 machine as Sorlin continues to fall back. He actually has some hood damage. Parker led pretty much the whole race here last year. And Cody Hagan so far looking to do the same. And now James Qualls falling back from 5th place. Kev Shearer making the move for that position. Rich was hanging on the inside, but Qualls gets the run off of 4, and he'll stay in 6th. Alex Ferranti has made his way into 10th place. Curtis, who got in the wall earlier, back into 12th. Austin Alves, one of the race winners this season, who needs to have a good run, including Zach Flickinger here. William Brock starting to lose positions. Just a big old train of cars here. No one's losing or gaining a lot of ground, as Deanna Jones will make the move on 2nd on Charles Jackson. Jackson coming off of the corner. As you can see, turn 2 starting to become a little better on exit on the high side. Look at that, 200 miles an hour into turn 3. The tire wear here is pretty huge. The Highline run is making this race very interesting. Can Jackson clear teammate Emmanuel Hartnett? The answer is no. Hartnett will fly into the corner for 3rd. James Qualls goes by for 4th. And Andrew Rich will be looking for 5th here off the corner exit. But it becomes a little bit neutral. Alex Ferranti making his way deeper up front into the top 10. Cody Hagan, Deanna Jones continuing to put on a great show here for the race lead. We have gone green flag racing for about 14 laps now. Very good job by the drivers. You see Osborne, the only driver who's lost the pack. Hoffman surprisingly doing a pretty good job back here, despite having no front end. Let's go on board with the 53 of Andrew Rich, 4-lap, your 4-time winner on the season, coming to hit lap 29. Telemetry up to almost 195 into turn 1. But look at the speeds they're holding through this corner. One of the fastest corners on this track. This is what propels them and gives them such a run. Look at this in the draft. Rich hits 204 miles an hour on this 1.366 mile track. 4-time winner on the season. Looking for another Speedway win. If he could get it done, that would propel him into the next same category as Jonny Gardner, which Gardner is being feared if he were to get another win. As we said before, Gardner already out of the race today. You're going to get 42nd place. So not what the 32 team wanted today. As Cody Hagan was just passed for the lead by Deanna Jones. So Jones into the lead for the first time tonight. Hagan holding on to 2nd with his run to keep Hartnett at bay. And I'm sure Hagan would love a win, would love to be pretty much confirmed to be in the chase. As James Qualls makes a move on Hartnett into turn 3. This is for 3rd. Qualls not getting cleared yet, but he should definitely clear here in turn 1. 3rd place giving to James Qualls. Rich will go by for 4th. Jackson will go by for 5th. And Ferranti will clear for 6th place, yes. So Hartnett going from 3rd place and now starting to drop into the field. Austin Alves into the top 10 in 10th place. So the drivers are doing a very good job, and once we see pit stops, we should see them continue the race the way they are. But Deanna Jones is checking out. Jones would be looking to break the record she currently has tied with boyfriend Andrew Rich. and that would be to take the 5th win of the season. Something I have never seen in all my times of doing offline. I have never had a 5-win driver in a year. I had a 40 race season one time, and I had a 4-win driver that season, but I did not have a 5-win driver. I have never seen it. I have never seen 4 for the longest time since season 2 of my original Cup series. That was the last time I saw 4 guys. I'm looking, we're in 2018, and that was way back in like 2014. I have not seen it in a while, and Jones is gapping Cody Hagan. He is just not doing a good job, and he is holding these drivers up. They need to get by the 8 machine if they are going to catch Deanna Jones, and Rich is the one making the move first here. He's had enough. He's looking for 3rd on James Qualls. Qualls will get the run in the draft support from Charles Jackson on back. But into turn 1, Rich will fly by James Qualls. Jackson up in the 4th, and Ferranti will visit the top 5 for the first time tonight. And now Rich not wasting any time, wanting to get to the inside of Cody Hagan. Charles Jackson has made his way back to the front. Rich gets a very bad run off of turn 4. Will Jackson make a move? Answer is no. But Deanna Jones just pulling away. Hagan can do nothing. They've lost the draft for sure now. Rich gets a huge run off of turn 2, and he'll make the move for 2nd place. Ferranti makes a move for 4th behind him. Shearer's looking to follow. And Rich actually clears Cody Hagan's through 3 and 4. And now 2 Bulldog Motorsports drivers sit into top 2. Ferranti will go by flying for 3rd. Shearer for 4th. As Tringali and Austin Alves close up, Tringali will get 5th place. So Jackson just stuck behind the 8 of Cody Hagan. So we're seeing these drivers come into their runs. James Shelley back into the top 10. There's John Nunn, the only other remaining Bulldog Motorsports driver, sitting currently in 14th. Nunn has been unimpressive, and it is really unknown if he will return next year. He sits 35th in the point standings. Tyler Merkel drove the 9 car last year. No wins for that driver either. And now Cody Hagan, you can see, is just dropping like a rock. Tires shredded, no doubt. Charles Jackson actually just went down pit road, so it looks like green flag pit stops will begin. As you can see, even running on the bottom, 2 seconds of fall off. The tire game will be real here tonight. Andrew Rich just following in line behind Deanna Jones, and Jones will be coming down pit road. So Jackson and Osborne, the only ones to visit first time around. Ferranti is going to stay out. I thought I saw a yellow light, but I did not. We are still green. So Alex Ferranti leads his first lap of the night at Darlington. Kev Shearer, Nico Tringali, Austin Alves stay out. Now the big other issue we could see with a potential caution is coming out of pit road. Drivers coming out, drivers wanting to come in. And if drivers are side by side going into 3 when someone is coming out, that has been a potential issue before. John Arndt is going to elect to stay out. Some drivers choosing to stay along, and then others looks like fall off was not 2 seconds, it's more about 1.5 seconds. So John Arndt stays out, William Brock, and a couple of others. There's Charles Jackson already back on the surface. Jackson should leapfrog a lot of drivers. John Arndt will come down, William Brock will come down. Yepes, Goldberg, Parker, Austin, Jessica Shelton, all down pit road, so everyone else coming out. Here comes race leader Deanna Jones out of pit road. Along with Andrew Rich, there's Charles Jackson. So Jackson currently 3rd in line. A couple drivers actually getting lapped possibly here. I'm not positive, or they're just really in the back. Here comes Alex Ferranti. Jones will go by, that's first. 2nd, Andrew Rich. Jackson goes by for 3rd, so Ferranti into 4th for now. kind of watching everyone come back onto the track right now. DJ Curtis with a pretty bad pit stop. Might possibly get put a lap down. Next driver out, last one out was John Arndt. And it looks like he'll be 5th place. So Arndt with a very good strategy, gaining a ton of track time. Pitting on a clear pit road. If this thing goes green, Arndt could be one of the top drivers to win this race. We have not seen the 48 in victory lane since Talladega of last season, where Arndt got his lone career win. Looking at the 48 of John Arndt in the point standings this season, he sits 22nd right now. A win would theoretically put them in, and Arndt has only had a lone top 10 finish all season. No top 5s for the 48 machine. I forgot that he hasn't had a top 5 yet. And the crazy thing to look at where John Arndt is in the point standings is he is 2 points behind the driver who has a victory. That's right. Zach Flickinger sits just ahead of John Arndt in points. Flickinger's statistics include a win, 4 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. But if you look at the average finish, Flickinger's average finish is a 21.64. Arndt's is a 21.28. Just think about that. Arndt has a better average finish, while Flickinger has 5 more top 10s, and to boot 4 top 5s that Arndt doesn't have a single one. And Arndt is looking to get that first top 5, but meanwhile, Kev Shearer, Nico Tringali, Austin Alves, and John Nunn closing in with the draft. And John Nunn, how about this? The 3 remaining Bulldog Motorsports cars currently in the top 10 at Darlington. So Nunn trying to put together a good run to try and prove that he could return to this machine and do good. So as they draft up to John Nunn, let's talk about Alex Ferranti, one of the rookies, currently the highest one in the field. Ferranti sitting 39th in the point standings with a lone top 5 and 5 top 10s on the season and 2 poles to his name. Ferranti would definitely love to get a good run here tonight. Possibly a chance for a win, unsure really. By the way, Andrew Rich into the race lead now, just noticing that. And Charles Jackson is closed up to those 2 as well. Ferranti not really gaining or losing anything despite having no draft. And here's Jackson behind Deanna Jones. Andrew Rich once again in the race lead at a racetrack. And there's DJ Curtis at the back. There is, I believe, a car a lap down, and that is the 70 of Joshua Osborne. Hitting lap 50 here tonight at Darlington. We're going to take a step aside, and we'll be back for more action. Andrew Rich leads right now at Darlington. We're back here at Darlington Raceway. Rich continuing the lead. Deanna Jones second still with a bumper full of Charles Jackson in 3rd place as drivers continue to pull closer towards the leaders. Ferranti not gaining any ground, still sits in 4th place. But John Arndt is getting a lot of draft right now from Kev Shearer, Nico Tringali, Austin Alves, and John Nunn, the top 9. Closest to the race leader, James Quall sitting in 10th. Arndt has just got the freshest tires on the racetrack right now, and he is getting everything he needs to close in on race leader Andrew Rich. Remember, Charles Jackson was the first one down pit road. See how much time it takes Arndt to get by Alex Ferranti here, if he takes a look at his teammate here in the one or not. Looks like it will not be this time by Ferranti. Pit 1 lap prior to John Arndt. Arndt's just on a rail right now, and he needs to make sure no one gets to his inside, as Kev Shearer was maybe thinking about it. But Arndt with the freshest rubber, definitely don't let yourself get caught on the high side, and that is apparently now going to happen as Kev Shearer makes the move for 5th place. Tringali will pass, Alves will pass. Arndt trying his best to hold on to that high line. on the 16. This is for 8th place. Arndt will hold on to 8th. Actually, that was for 7th place. My apologies. So Arndt falls back from 5th. The rest of these drivers have caught Alex Ferranti. Now they're trying to maybe draft their way towards the leaders. Andrew Rich catching his first lap traffic car of the night on the track. The 14 of Caleb Hoffman, your defending champion, not having the night he needed. And he is holding up the 53 tremendously. But now Rich will fly by the 14. Jones and Jackson catch up. And they will clear the 14 through 1 and 2 as well. And we are at lap 60 now. Last season we had 74 laps. We'd be really getting amped up for the finish of this race right about now. However, we still have 87 to go. And we are beginning to approach the pit stop signaler, which is around a 27.9 lap time. And we'll see when Charles Jackson's tire wear really begins to come in. Making a move for second though right now on Deanna Jones. Jones will get a run off the corner. This will let Rich gain a ton of track time. But Jackson will complete the pass for second, and now Hoffman will fly back by due to the horrible line that is the top of 1 and 2. So Jackson maybe now trying to hunt down the 53 of Rich. Meanwhile, Kev Shearer, Austin Alves have caught up. This is 4th and 5th right now. Arndt back up to 6th. Ferranti down to 8th. Tringali down to 9th. John Nunn has made his way up to 7th, so now he drafts behind the 48 of John Arndt. The Johns, 6th and 7th. But Kev Shearer definitely looking for this one. He sits in 4th. Yet again, staring at the back bumper of this Honeydew Dodge Dart. Shearer most likely sick of seeing the back of this machine. He's probably seen it most of the season. Austin Alves, though, one of those winners we talked about, in danger. Currently in 5th, having a very good run. If he can keep this up, he could definitely lock himself in on points from that cutoff spot next week. Remember, the most amount of points you can gain is 51, I believe. We'll have to double check that, but I believe it's 51, because if you get the win, you get 50, you lead a lap 51, and you lead the most is 52. And last place, I believe, is 1 point. So Deanna Jones now falls to 5th, right in front of John Arndt, so Jones not having the run she wanted here. Shearer and Alves look to get by the 14 of Caleb Hoffman. And Shearer will make the move into 3. Alves is going to elect to stay high. Even without a hood, very tough to get by the 14 of Hoffman off of turn 4, but Shearer will do it now. Alves will follow. Jones, Arndt, maybe John Nunn. Yes, indeed, John Nunn will come by as well. 10th place continues to be James Qualls. Hartnett, Brock are right here. Seth Cole sitting in 13th place tonight. Now Ferranti and Tringali will be held up by the 14 of Caleb Hoffman. But Kev Shearer closing in fast from behind on Andrew Rich and Charles Jackson. The pole sitter not gonna let this one go easy, as Great Clips and Sport Clips are about to do battle on the track. There's the move for second by Kev Shearer. Closing in on the halfway marker. Andrew Rich continuing the lead. Shearer at the line gets second place from Charles Jackson. He'll go through the corner. Alves will advance into third. Jackson will lower his car back down, and he will hold on to fourth place. As now Qualls and others are catching up to the back of this pack. As Charles Jackson now, this means the pit stop cycle is beginning yet again here as Jackson comes down pit road on lap 70. Andrew Rich continuing the lead, but Kev Shearer is right there in second. And there it is, Rich will pull down. Alves hits the brakes a little bit, so Shearer will pull out into the lead. Deanna Jones coming down, Ferranti, Hartnett. Those are the top four drivers to come down pit road here on lap 71. This race has gone great since two quick yellows. And here comes Kev Shearer, Austin Alves. Arndt will stay out, Tringali will stay out, but John Nunn and pretty much most of the rest of the field will come down pit road. William Brock elects to stay out as well. But John Arndt back into the lead here tonight at Darlington. So far, we're trying to figure out how many laps you can go on a tank. And it appears to be, I believe, around 30 to 32 laps. Arndt will come down, but William Brock will stay out. So now the pit cycle has expanded. And we'll be back when it's all done, said and done. Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. You're looking at the Gatorade Victory Lane that one driver hopes to visit here tonight after the pit stop cycle. New race leader Charles Jackson beating out Andrew Rich on their cycle. But remember, Jackson, with the quickest, earliest pit stop, has the oldest set of tires up front as they caught DJ Curtis, the lap down machine. Andrew Rich in 3 and 4 looking back for that race lead. Neck and neck off the corner. Rich will get it at the line and into one. We'll see Andrew Rich back in the top spot. Now back in third place is now Austin Alves. Fourth is Kev Shearer. Fifth, Alex Ferranti. Sixth, Deanna Jones. And seventh, John Arndt. John Nunn in eighth. Hartnett into the top 10 in ninth. And Nico Tringali holding on to 10th, just over James Quall. Seth Cole 12th. Alex Gray 13th. Remember, Gray did not start good at all here tonight. So Gray doing a very good job. Brock has the freshest set of tires on this run. He is in 14th place. Zach Flickinger 15th, another driver we talked about. Needs to have a good run. One of those guys in the win column. Wants to stay into the chase picture right now. He's got to have a good run. Philip Goldberg, James Shelley, Philip Parker 18th. Moving his way up the field. Dylan Young 19th. And Fitzwater in 20th. Now remember, we were looking at the three in on points coming in tonight. Sands, Hoffman, and Hanley. Well, you've seen Hoffman. He's a lap down. Peter Sands sits in 34th place. And as for TJ Hanley, he has dropped to 29th after running in the top 10 earlier today. Now we must also look at the drivers just out on points. That includes Hagan, Green, Jackson, and Young, as well as Brock. Now here is Hagan right here, passing Sorlin. Amato's not doing too hot either. We know Jackson's up front. And Tony Green also not doing good in 32nd place. So none of the guys in on points right now are doing good. Now, forgot to mention Dylan Young does sit 19th. He is the best out of the guys, I believe, currently out that are decently close. Now, if you look at the point standings, there are a few big gaps. For instance, 24th in the point standings is Matthew McIntyre. It is a 22-point gap from him to Eli Bright. And then it climbs up, and then you have Andrew Rich with the 56 4-point lead over Gardner in the point standings. Rich has 12 top 10s. That leads all drivers on the season. Meanwhile, he's growing that lead. Charles Jackson is falling back. He does not have enough draft support, and Rich is just flying in sail behind DJ Curtis. And meanwhile, Alves, Shearer, Ferranti, Jones, aren't, none, and Hartnett, they're closing in. These drivers are just kind of chilling right now in the line. They are slowly catching as Jackson begins to fall back. But we passed halfway. That was lap 74. So closing in on the end of this race. If our theory is correct, we believe it is a 30 to 32 lap window. We can confirm that on the next strategy, as it was lap 70 that these drivers came around to pit. Now, if that is the case, we will see everyone pit as late as lap 132 to 135 for their last pit stop, and that is where the strategy will begin. Will drivers take right sides only? Will they take no tires, just fuel only? Depending how late they pit, that is what we could see, and we saw that happen at the Meadowlands when Jonathan Sorlin got his third win of the season with a late race pass over William Brock. And Jackson now has been caught by Austin Alves. They are 2 seconds behind Andrew Rich, who was just held up tremendously from Joshua Osborne, who has just gone 2 laps down. Rich still with the draft of DJ Curtis. Next car up is Peter Sands. Dave Rogers was also doing good earlier today, and now he falling back outside the top 30. So Jackson currently sitting in the top spot of this pack. And the big question will be, when do these drivers make a move on the 11, because they all know that he has the oldest tires of anyone. William Brock sits 14th, trying to cling to Alex Gray's draft. Let's look at that standings monitor here, and let's see, he's gaining time on the 3 of Alex Gray. This is the running order. You see Gray and Seth Cole by themselves, but Brock is there with his fresh tires. He's gaining a ton of time in the corner, so Brock should begin to move his way up through the field here shortly. Alves just still all over the bumper of Charles Jackson as they catch Joshua Osborne. Now a 2-second lead for the 53 of Andrew Rich. Jackson will make the move to the inside of the 70 of Osborne. In 3 and 4, Osborne the slowest car on the track, 2 laps down. Hoffman the only other car a lap down, 1 lap down. These drivers will clear Osborne here in the turn 1. This is 2nd to 9th here, just in the train, and Shearer took a little more time to get by the 70 car. And will that give Alves the motivation to make this move? 2 Fords just in line behind this Toyota as they continue to lose sight of Andrew Rich. Jackson's strategy is not going to work. He's already lost a ton of time to the race leader, who just continues to draft behind DJ Curtis. Peter Sands in 35th, looking to maybe pass Jessica Shelton for 34th. Every point matters for this 12 team right now. Sands got 5th here last season, so really not a good run for this team by any means. And now Alves has waited too long and Shearer had enough. Shearer made the move for third. Alves will hold on to it at the start-finish line. But Shearer's nose is still there on corner entry, and Alves will fall outside the top 5. So Shearer up the third, Ferranti up the fourth, and Deanna Jones in the 5th place. Shearer with a huge run, going to try and maybe find the way around Charles Jackson here on lap 94 now. Alves falls all the way back to 7th place. And now even Shearer cannot seem to get the right run for the 11 of Charles Jackson, though he gets a nice one there. He peaks a little too late. Let's go inside the cockpit of 38 of Kev Shearer. There's the move by Kev Shearer. Can he make his way by Charles Jackson off the corner? They're pretty even. Jackson's going to clear him. Jackson gets back down, and now Jones making a move for 4th place. Ferranti will fall outside the top 5. The lead has grown to 3.5 seconds for Andrew Rich. And now John Arndt with the dive for 4th on Deanna Jones. And John Arndt just threw his car through 3 and 4 and got by Jones in no time. Arndt's tires coming in big time clutch right now. Ferranti falls to 7th. Alves is going to move back up to 6th. Nunn and Hartnett are just kind of sitting there, 8th and 9th. Rich and Curtis have caught up to Jessica Shelton and Peter Sands. And now this is where Rich could find his way of being stuck in lap traffic as Kev Shearer's fighting again for 2nd place on Charles Jackson. Does Jackson hold on this time? No, he doesn't. Now Arndt shoved back to the top by Deanna Jones. Shearer will finally move in the 2nd. Jones up the 3rd. Alves looking for 4th. Jackson is nothing on the top of those tires. Arndt cuts back in front of Ferranti. And Arndt will have 5th place at the start-finish line. And now John Nunn to the inside of Ferranti. And Ferranti will fall all the way back to 9th as Tringali, Qualls, and now look at this. William Brock has already passed Seth Cole and Alex Gray. Brock moving his way up through the field as well. On lap 100 now to see how many more laps Charles Jackson makes his way around this racetrack until he pits. Joshua Osborne already down. Rich has put Jessica Shelton a lap down. Curtis now right on the bumper of Peter Sands. Lap 101, Rich continuing to stay out. And there it is, Jackson coming down, Ferranti as well. Those two pitting the same time every cycle. Seth Cole and Gray tried to make a run on Brock as he held himself up. But a 4.4 second lead for Andrew Rich coming into what will be the 2nd to last cycle of pit stops. Here he comes down pit road with lap down machine Peter Sands behind. Kev Shearer will stay out. Deanna Jones coming down with her teammate and boyfriend. So Shearer back to the front. Andrew Rich definitely on pace to lead the most laps here tonight. And here it is on lap 103. Shearer and Alves coming down. Arndt had to slow up a lot more than he wanted to. That's going to allow John Nunn to close in big time. We're going to step aside for the last time. We will stay for the final cycle. We'll be right back. 40 laps to go at Darlington. Andrew Rich still your leader by 3 seconds. 2.5 now actually over Alex Ferranti. Ferranti sitting in second. Deanna Jones third. Hartnett has made his way up to fourth. Jackson in fifth place. Shearer sixth. Tringali seventh. John Nunn eighth. Seth Cole into the top 10 in ninth, with Austin Alves in 10th. Arndt sitting 11th. Gray 12th. Brock 13th. Qualls down to 14th. Dylan Young making his way up to 15th. And there's 20th place, Eli Bright. There's Fitzwater, 21st. One of the guys needing to do good here tonight. Speaking of the other guy that needs to do good, Alexander Rowe sits 33rd, so not looking good for the 41 team. Diego Yepes also stayed out with Arndt. One more lap. Arndt did not pit before William Brock. William Brock pit before John Arndt. So Arndt and Yepes were the last two down pit road. They have the freshest rubber, and we could see them take the least amount of fuel on the last pit stop. That's what we're gonna find out. Will it be tires or fuel that wins somebody this race? Right now, what we're probably going to see is Andrew Rich pit around lap 132 and possibly take a two-tire strategy. Now, if you go 5 laps forward around to 10 to go, lap 137, 138, Arndt could take fuel only. That'll be the big thing to decide the outcome of this race. Just like we saw at the Meadowlands, except at the Meadowlands, we didn't know our drivers would be coming down pit road with 7 laps to go in the race. Ferranti was closing drastically, but that has halted. However, Rich is currently held up by Alexander Rowe. And there you see Ferranti gains 2/10. Ferranti just caught the back end of Jessica Shelton. And Alex will make his way by the lap down machine of the O2. Caleb Hoffman has fallen down to 2 laps down. That will hold Ferranti up there, but now he will get by the O2 machine. Ferranti dashing his way towards what would hopefully be his first career victory. Deanna Jones sitting in 3rd, looking for her 5th win. Andrew Rich looks to be the one who is going to do that. Hartnett 4th, Jackson 5th. John Nunn 6th, Shearer 7th, Tringali 8th, Seth Cole 9th. Austin Alves is 10th. William Brock has already made his way up to 12th. Arndt, who actually has the best tires, is now stuck behind the 21 machine. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the outcome of this race. Shearer getting held up by the 14 has let John Nunn pull away in 6th. One thing's for certain, we could see Bulldog Motorsports get 3 cars in the top 5, and that is a big could. If Nunn catches up to Charles Jackson, who is held up by Jessica Shelton, that lets Hartnett pull closer towards Deanna Jones. Ferranti just here all by himself, closing in on Peter Sands and DJ Curtis. Alexander Rowe finally been passed and put a lap down by Andrew Rich. But Ferranti closing in on Andrew Rich. Ferranti, remember, pit a lap earlier, so it's kind of a shocker that he's closing the gap right now. Motto, Nate Rogers. Remember, Motto started second in this race. But what a race it has been. 2 early cautions take out 2 different cars. Just give you a recap if you're just joining us. First, yellow took out Jonny Gardner and Charles Sanford. Then the second one, a bigger wreck, multiple cars involved, took out Cole Deaver and Zach Rogers. Other cars involved in that accident were Joshua Osborne, Jessica Shelton, Peter Sands, I believe. Eli Wright was in that accident, as was, I'm trying to think, Matthew McIntyre, surprisingly 27th. Andrew Rich leads, and he gained time on Ferranti that lap as Ferranti makes his way by Peter Sands. And John Nunn has made it by Charles Jackson. There are 3 Bulldog Motorsports cars in the top 5 right now. Zach Rogers out early in the race, most likely watching from atop Andrew Rich's hauler right now, team owner. Looking to see history. Remember, this tied car, this scheme, won as a Pontiac back in 2003 in the NASCAR side of things. NRSL, its own separate league and association, trying to see if Andrew Rich can pull off history and capture his 5th career win and 5th of the season under the lights. And what the heck was that lag? Curtis is making his way by Alexander Rowe, but Rowe's holding on tight, and that's going to make them lose ground on Rich, who they were catching, trying to lap themselves, but Ferranti has lost his tires. The tires have come into play now. Ferranti's losing all the time he gained, but that time was valuable to gain in the case of the strategy that will begin in 7 laps. Jones sitting still 3rd. Nunn's moved up to 4th. Hartnett and others stuck between a lap down car sandwich. That's Hartnett and Jackson. Shears 7th, Tringali 8th, Seth Cole still 9th, and Austin Alves still 10th. Nobody else has budged. As Nunn is really closing in on teammate Deanna Jones. Rich pulling away, but now a really bad lap by the 53. Curtis is right there. Rowe is just kind of lagging back now. But Ferranti has been caught by Jones and John Nunn, who is on a rocket ship right now. All of a sudden, Nunn has dialed up his car and could be winning this race in an upset. Jones and Nunn will catch Alex Ferranti as they pull away from the rest of the field, 5th on back. Curtis all over the bumper of the 53. Nunn focusing on working with teammate Deanna Jones. They approach 2nd place, Alex Ferranti. We've had 100+ green flag laps here at Darlington, which has been amazing to see. Strategy is about to really come into play as soon as that 11 car dips down pit road to start us off. And of course, someone else could always do it. If you want to go for the 2-tire gamble, The sooner you pit now, the better off you're going to be. As Charles Jackson fell outside the top 10. Oh, Kev Shearer has fallen back outside the top 10. Charles Jackson, will he pit this time? And there it is. Jackson's coming down here on lap 131. Seth Cole the first to hit the brakes. Alex Ferranti came down as well from second. The big man to watch coming down pit road will be Andrew Rich. We will stay with the 53 car as he comes down pit road. It will not be this time by. And Deanna Jones will pit though from second. How much longer will the 53 of Andrew Rich wait? As I thought I just saw smoke, but I think I was seeing things. Many drivers visited pit road that lap. And here comes Andrew Rich down pit road here on lap 133. John Nunn will stay out. Hartnett, Seth Cole down pit road as well. So John Nunn gets the lead tonight at Darlington. Rich coming out of pit road just gets by Hoffman. Let's see what strategy the 53 team has in mind. Right side of the car is up. New right side tires on this 53 machine. And he's out and away. A 2-tire strategy call for the 53. John Nunn stays out another lap. And now he will come down pit road. Alex Gray will come down as well. This will give the lead to John Arndt. This is the next man we want to watch. He stayed out the longest on the last cycle. When John Arndt pits, could decide a lot of things. Oh, he's going to come right into Matthew McIntyre. Coming out of pit road, right into John Arndt. Sends Arndt right into the wall. We stay green. My goodness. Right sides are up for John Arndt. Will they fix the damage? And they are fixing the damage on John Arndt. John Arndt's night is done. Just like that. William Brock pit the lap before, and that should give the lead back to Andrew Rich. Devastation for the 48 team. They're still on pit road. Their night is up in smoke. Extremely unfortunate as Andrew Rich takes the race lead back. No signs of a no-tire pit stop from anyone. Now the big question is, can teammate John Nunn, a rookie, track down Andrew Rich on his way to history? 10 to go at Darlington. Arndt's top 10 run down to 35th place. McIntyre was coming out. Looked like Arndt wanted to come down, and it was just extremely bad timing. And I thought I saw a caution light on again for some reason, but we're still green. As the 48 made his way back onto the surface. And now here he comes, 2 laps down. It took a lot of time to fix the damage. Very unfortunate. And this race has almost gone on long. It has actually gone on longer than Yas Marina. No signs of John Nunn closing the distance. Rich trying to make his way by Michael Amato. John Arndt right there in front. And it looks like a 36th place result will happen for John Arndt. Very sad to see that happen to that team. Arndt's been out here trying to prove that he could stay with Hendrick Motorsports in 2019, and the luck for that team. But John Nunn's closing. Hartnett third, by the way. Ferranti fourth. Tringale's moved up to fifth. Jones sixth. Gray seventh. Seth Cole eighth. Jackson ninth. Austin Alves 10th. So Nunn continuing to close the gap slowly, but does he have enough time? It'll be 5 to go next time around. He's got the draft of DJ Curtis, but Michael Amato is also in the way as Rich making his way by John Arndt, but Arndt's holding him up. Rich will clear into turn 1. The lead's down to 1.5 seconds. Nunn's just kind of sitting here. He's not really gaining on DJ Curtis. No one else to catch for Andrew Rich on his way to history. Curtis and Amato in front of John Nunn. Nunn still gaining time, but there's just 3 race cars in his way. And taking the time to pass them will let Rich pull away. Three laps to go under the lights at Darlington. This is the racetrack that took Jonny Gardner from the first string into the second tier. I mean, not string, first tier to the second tier for Speedway driver skill rating. This is what gave Gardner the advantage on everyone for Speedways at the start of the season. Gardner has proved he can still dominate with his wins at Chicago and Pocono this year, leaving him 1 away from the third and final tier for the 2018 season. Andrew Rich knew that that was going to be a big thing with the amount of speedways that are in the playoffs. Rich won a fuel mileage race at Texas and then dominated at Pig Stadium. Now as he takes the white flag, John Nunn, his teammate, 1.2 seconds back, but behind 2 lap down cars, will apparently, from the looks of things, will not catch up in time. And as he heads into turn 3, Nunn makes the move on John Arndt, but it's too late. Checkered flag in the air. Andrew Rich wins his 5th race of the season. And his 3rd at a speedway, which puts him on the same ground as Jonny Gardner and Jonathan Zorlin. Those 3 could be the ones to watch on the speedways when we get into the playoffs. John Nunn, though, with the best result of his career this year, 2nd place for him. Hartnett comes home 3rd. Ferranti gets 4th. Tringale 5th. Deanna Jones had a strong run tonight. She gets 6th. Alex Gray 7th. Charles Jackson 8th. Seth Cole finally made his way all the way up to 9th, and Austin Alves 10th. That team really needed this run. But that's it from here under the lights from me. Next week is Armory Digital. It is gonna get crazy. And hopefully I will be joined in the booth for the first time all season to figure out who goes into the 16 driver playoff grid. I will see y'all next time for Armory Digital.